ladies and gentlemen. Today we celebrate the extraordinary paradox of simplicity and grandeur. The idea of a simple woman with big standards might seem contradictory at first glance, but look closer and you will see that it is anything but. Simplicity is not the absence of complexity, it is the refinement of it. A simple woman does not lack depth, she has merely sifted through the noise of the world to uncover what is essential. She is like a still lake, appearing calm on the surface, yet holding unimaginable depth within. Her big standards are not a facade or a list of demands. They are the quiet whispers of her soul, saying, I will not settle for less than what aligns with my truth. These standards are not a shield to keep others out, but a compass that guides her toward authenticity. In a world obsessed with speed, excess, and noise, a simple woman stands as a beacon of clarity. She does not chase trends or fleeting desires. Instead, she chooses depth over distraction, meaning over superficiality. She understands that her worth is not determined by what she accumulates, but by what she stands for. And here is where her standards come into play. They are not lofty ideals meant to impress others. They are rooted in self-respect. They say, this is who I am, and I will honor this truth, even if it means walking alone. Her simplicity is her power. It allows her to focus on what truly matters: kindness, integrity, and purpose. These qualities may not always shine brightly in a world that glorifies the loud and flashy, but they endure, they inspire, they transform. And let us not mistake her humility for weakness. She is humble because she does not need to shout her worth. Her actions speak louder than words. Her life, lived with grace and unwavering standards, becomes a quiet revolution, a reminder that simplicity, when combined with unyielding values, can reshape the world. So to every woman who feels the pull to live authentically, unapologetically, know that your simplicity is your strength and your high standards are your legacy. Together they make you unstoppable. Simplicity is often misunderstood in a world that equates complexity with importance and busyness with achievement. But simplicity is not about having less, it is about focusing on what truly matters. It is the art of stripping away the unnecessary, the courage to declutter the mind and life, and the wisdom to recognize that value does not lie in excess but in clarity. A simple woman is not simple because she lacks ambition or depth. She is simple because she has chosen to honor what is essential. Her life is not free from challenges or complexities, but she approaches them with a sense of calm that comes from clarity. She understands that simplicity is not a compromise, it is a statement of purpose. It is a conscious decision to live authentically and intentionally, refusing to be swayed by the noise of the world. Simplicity does not mean smallness. On the contrary, it often requires great strength to resist the lure of unnecessary complexities. A simple woman knows that having too many things, whether possessions, commitments, or even thoughts, can weigh down the spirit. She prioritizes not because she lacks the capacity for more, but because she knows that true fulfillment comes not from scattering her energy thin, but from focusing it deeply. She embodies the principle that less is often more, not because of scarcity, but because of abundance in what truly matters. Simplicity also brings freedom. A cluttered life can bind us with invisible chains, leaving us overwhelmed and distracted. But simplicity liberates. It creates space for reflection, for connection, and for the things that feed the soul. A simple woman does not feel the need to chase every opportunity or meet every expectation. She has mastered the art of saying no to what does not serve her, so she can say yes to what aligns with her values. This discipline is not restrictive, it is empowering. What makes simplicity so powerful is its quiet confidence. In a world that glorifies loudness and excess, the simple woman walks her path without the need to prove herself. Her worth does not come from external validation, but from an inner sense of peace. She understands that simplicity is not an absence of ambition, but a refined ambition, an ambition to live a life of meaning, not just of achievement. Her simplicity is not the lack of adornment, but the presence of authenticity. She does not decorate herself with the trappings of success, for her success is in being true to herself. The power of simplicity lies in its ability to bring focus. When we remove the distractions, we see things as they truly are. A simple woman has the clarity to recognize opportunities that align with her values and the wisdom to let go of those that do not. This focus enables her to move through life with a sense of purpose that is unshaken by external pressures. Simplicity is not about avoiding responsibility, it is about taking responsibility for one's own happiness and fulfillment. Simplicity also allows for deeper relationships. In a world full of superficial connections, a simple woman invests in what is real. She is present, attentive, and authentic. Her simplicity creates a space where others feel seen and valued, where conversations are meaningful, and where bonds are strengthened. It is not just her own life that is enriched by her simplicity, but also the lives of those around her. Ultimately, simplicity is a form of strength. It requires self-awareness to know what is truly important and courage to let go of what is not. It is an act of rebellion against the chaos of the world, a quiet statement that says, "I will not be defined by the noise." The simple woman, in all her quiet strength, reminds us that true power does not come from having it all, but from knowing what matters most and living in alignment with it. Standards are much more than mere expectations set for others or the world. They are a direct reflection of how we perceive and value ourselves. To have standards is not to impose, it is to declare to the world, "This is who I am, and this is what I stand for." For a simple woman with big standards, these principles are not just guidelines for external relationships, but a deep expression of her self-respect. When a woman sets high standards, it is not about being demanding or difficult, it is about recognizing her own worth. She understands that she deserves to be treated with dignity and care, and she does not settle for less. These standards come from a place of self-awareness and self-love, not from arrogance. They are an acknowledgement of her value, an internal compass guiding her to live a life aligned with her beliefs and aspirations. Self-respect is the foundation of these standards. It is not about being perfect or expecting perfection, but about being honest with oneself. A simple woman with big standards does not hold others to expectations she herself cannot meet. Instead, her standards stem from the way she treats herself kindly but firmly, with understanding yet without indulgence. She demands respect from others because she first gives it to herself. Such standards are not arbitrary or superficial, they are deeply rooted in her core values. They are not about external validation or societal approval, but about living in alignment with her truth. For instance, she may value honesty above all else and therefore cannot tolerate deceit in her relationships. This is not because she is unforgiving, but because dishonesty is incompatible with her understanding of mutual respect and trust. Living by these standards often requires courage. It can mean walking away from situations or relationships that do not honor her values, even when it is painful or inconvenient. It can mean standing firm in her beliefs, even when others question or ridicule her. But this courage is a testament to her self-respect. She would rather face temporary loneliness or discomfort than compromise her integrity or accept less than she deserves. These principles extend beyond personal relationships to every aspect of her life. In her work, she does not settle for mediocrity, not because she seeks perfection, but because she values effort and commitment. In her personal growth, she challenges herself to continually learn and evolve. Her standards are not about being better than others, but about striving to be the best version of herself. Maintaining such standards is not always easy. There are times when the world pressures her to lower her expectations, to conform, to settle. But a woman who values herself understands that compromising her standards is not a path to happiness, it is a betrayal of her own self-worth. She knows that true fulfillment comes not from appeasing others, but from honoring her own values. Standards, then, are a profound expression of self-respect. They are a way of saying, "I know who I am, and I will not apologize for it." They guide her choices, shape her relationships, and define her path. They are not rigid rules, but flexible principles that adapt as she grows, always rooted in the same unwavering respect for herself. By living with high standards, a simple woman not only honors herself, but inspires others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of authenticity and integrity in the world around her. The strength of a person is not always loud or visible often. It is found in the quiet resolve of their inner values. For a simple woman, this quiet strength defines her essence. It does not seek recognition or applause, it simply exists, guiding her actions and shaping her life. Inner values are the foundation upon which she builds her world, and from them flows a strength that is both steady and profound. Inner values are not fleeting whims or superficial beliefs, they are the deeply held principles that anchor a person. A simple woman's values might include kindness, honesty, perseverance, or respect, and they are not dependent on external circumstances. These values are like the roots of a tree, buried deep and unseen, yet providing stability and nourishment. They ground her in moments of uncertainty and give her the courage to remain true to herself, even when the winds of life threaten to uproot her. This quiet strength is not aggressive or forceful. It does not demand attention, nor does it seek to overpower others. Instead, it is patient and enduring. A woman who draws strength from her inner values does not feel the need to prove herself to the world. She understands that her worth is not determined by external approval, but by how faithfully she lives in alignment with her principles. This alignment brings a deep sense of peace, a calm assurance that she is on the right path, no matter how challenging that path may be. Inner values are also a source of resilience. Life is unpredictable, full of trials and adversities, but a woman guided by her values faces these challenges with quiet determination. She does not crumble under pressure because her strength comes from within. Even when circumstances are beyond her control, her values remain steady, offering her a compass to navigate the storm. She may bend, but she does not break, because her strength is not tied to external factors, it is rooted in the unshakable core of who she is. This quiet strength manifests in her actions. She does not need to make grand gestures to demonstrate her values. Instead, she lives them in small, consistent ways. She chooses kindness when it is easier to be indifferent, honesty when deceit might bring quicker rewards, and integrity even when no one is watching. These choices may seem simple, but they require great strength, especially in a world that often rewards compromise over conviction. Her inner values also shape her relationships. She does not surround herself with people who undermine or disrespect her principles. Instead, she attracts those who appreciate her authenticity and share her commitment to living with integrity. Simplicity in action is not about doing less, it is about doing what matters most with clarity and purpose. It is the embodiment of the principle that simplicity is not merely a state of being, but a way of engaging with the world. For a simple woman, this approach defines her choices, her relationships, and her outlook on life. Simplicity in action is not a rejection of complexity, but a deliberate decision to prioritize what truly aligns with her values and aspirations. At its core, simplicity in action means cutting through the noise. Life is full of distractions that pull us in countless directions, urging us to take on more, achieve more, and accumulate more. But a woman who practices simplicity in action understands that doing everything is not the same as doing what is meaningful. She is not driven by the need to impress or conform, but by a desire to stay true to herself. This clarity allows her to channel her energy toward what matters most, whether it is nurturing relationships, pursuing a passion, or making a difference in her own quiet way. This intentionality is reflected in the way she approaches decisions. Simplicity in action requires discernment, the ability to separate what is essential from what is not. A simple woman does not overcomplicate her choices by trying to please everyone or by second-guessing her instincts. She trusts her values to guide her, knowing that when she acts from a place of authenticity, her decisions will bring her closer to the life she envisions for herself. Simplicity in action also manifests in her relationships. She does not fill her life with superficial connections or invest her time in relationships that drain her energy. Instead, she focuses on cultivating meaningful bonds with those who respect her values and enrich her life. This does not mean she isolates herself or avoids difficult relationships. Rather, it means she brings honesty, kindness, and presence to every interaction. Her simplicity creates a space for genuine connection, free from pretense or manipulation. In her daily life, simplicity in action is evident in how she manages her time and resources. She understands that time is her most precious asset and chooses to spend it wisely. Instead of cramming her schedule with endless tasks, she prioritizes what aligns with her goals and values. She finds joy in small, intentional acts, sharing a meal with loved ones, spending time in nature, or dedicating herself fully to a project. These moments, though simple, bring her a sense of fulfillment that no amount of busyness can replicate. Simplicity in action is also a form of quiet strength. It takes courage to resist the pressure to overcomplicate life, to say no to unnecessary commitments, and to stand firm in one's choices. A simple woman is not swayed by the fear of missing out or by societal expectations. She knows that true contentment comes not from doing everything, but from doing the right things for the right reasons. This strength allows her to move through life with grace, unburdened by the need to prove herself to others. Her simplicity does not mean she avoids challenges or complexities, it means she approaches them with clarity and focus. When faced with a problem, she does not overanalyze or become paralyzed by indecision. Instead, she breaks it down into manageable steps, addressing each one with patience and determination. Her ability to simplify even the most daunting challenges allows her to move forward with confidence and resolve. Ultimately, simplicity in action is a way of living that prioritizes authenticity, intentionality, and purpose. It is a reminder that life is not about doing more or having more, but about being true to oneself. A simple woman's actions may not be grand or elaborate, but they are powerful in their sincerity and impact. She leaves a legacy not of excess but of meaning, showing that simplicity, when put into action, is a profound and transformative force. Walking alone is one of the most courageous acts a person can undertake. It requires strength, self-awareness, and the willingness to embrace uncertainty. For a simple woman with big standards, the courage to walk alone is not born from defiance or pride, but from her unwavering commitment to her values and the life she envisions for herself. This journey, while challenging, is also deeply empowering, as it reflects her dedication to authenticity and self-respect. The decision to walk alone often arises when she realizes that the path she must take diverges from the expectations of others. Society often pressures individuals to conform, to follow well-trodden paths that feel safe and familiar. But a woman with the courage to walk alone understands that true fulfillment cannot be found by living someone else's life. She knows that her journey is uniquely hers, and she chooses to honor it, even if it means leaving behind the comfort of companionship or approval. This courage is not a denial of the fear and doubt that naturally accompany solitude. To walk alone is to face the unknown, to step into a space where there are no guarantees or assurances. It requires the bravery to confront one's own insecurities and to trust in the strength of one's convictions. A simple woman does not pretend to be invulnerable to these fears, but she refuses to let them dictate her choices. Instead, she embraces them as part of the process, knowing that growth often lies on the other side of discomfort. Walking alone also means learning to find solace within oneself. It is in these solitary moments that she discovers the depth of her inner resources, the strength, wisdom, and resilience that might have remained hidden in the noise of constant companionship. She learns to rely on her own judgment, to trust her instincts, and to find peace in her own company. This self-reliance does not mean she shuts herself off from others, but rather that she becomes her own anchor, capable of navigating life's challenges without losing her sense of direction. This journey often requires the courage to let go of relationships that no longer serve her, of expectations that limit her, and of fears that hold her back. Letting go is not an act of rejection, but of liberation. By releasing what does not align with her values or aspirations, she creates space for what truly matters. This process can be painful, as it may involve parting ways with people or situations that once felt integral to her life. But a woman who walks alone understands that clinging to what no longer fits her path only hinders her progress. The courage to walk alone also lies in the willingness to face judgment and misunderstanding. Society often views solitude with suspicion, equating it with loneliness or failure. A simple woman, however, recognizes that solitude is not a lack but a space of potential. She refuses to let the opinions of others dictate her choices. Knowing that their understanding of her journey is limited by their own perspectives, she finds strength in her convictions and remains steadfast, even in the face of criticism or doubt. While the path of walking alone can feel isolating at times, it is also profoundly rewarding. It is on this path that she discovers her truest self, unencumbered by the expectations or influences of others. She finds clarity in her purpose, strength in her resilience, and joy in the authenticity of her choices. Her journey becomes a testament to the power of living with integrity, a reminder that true fulfillment comes not from conformity but from honoring one's own truth. Ultimately, the courage to walk alone is not about rejecting others or isolating oneself. It is about having the strength to prioritize one's values and aspirations, even when it means stepping away from the crowd. It is a declaration of self-respect and a commitment to authenticity. A woman who walks alone may face challenges, but she also discovers freedom, growth, and a deep sense of purpose. In her solitude, she finds not emptiness, but the space to create a life that is truly her own. Living as a quiet revolution is a profound act of defiance in a world that celebrates noise, speed, and spectacle. It is not about making grand gestures or shouting one's convictions from rooftops. Instead, it is about embodying change through the choices made every day, often unseen and uncelebrated. For a simple woman with big standards, living as a quiet revolution is a way of aligning her actions with her values, challenging societal norms not through confrontation but through authenticity and intentionality. This way of living begins with self-awareness. A quiet revolution is not about rebellion for its own sake, but about living in harmony with one's truth. It requires the courage to examine deeply held beliefs, to question inherited assumptions, and to let go of what no longer serves. For a simple woman, this means stripping away the expectations imposed by society and choosing instead to honor her unique journey. It is an act of trust in her own wisdom, a declaration that her life's purpose is hers to define. Living as a quiet revolution often involves subtle but significant shifts in perspective and behavior. It may mean prioritizing meaningful relationships over superficial connections, choosing quality over quantity in possessions, or valuing inner peace over external validation. These choices are not about rejecting the world, but about engaging with it in a way that feels authentic and sustainable. They are small acts of resistance against a culture that often equates worth with productivity, status, or material success. One of the most radical aspects of this quiet revolution is the refusal to be swept away by the noise of the world. A simple woman knows that much of modern life is designed to distract and overwhelm. She chooses instead to cultivate presence, to listen more than she speaks, and to act with intention rather than reaction. This deliberate pace is not a sign of passivity, but of strength. It is a reminder that true change often begins in stillness and clarity. Living this way also requires resilience, for the quiet revolutionary often finds herself at odds with societal norms. The world may view her choices as unconventional or even naive, misunderstanding her simplicity as a lack of ambition or her standards as inflexibility. But she does not seek approval from others. Her revolution is not about being understood by everyone, but about staying true to herself. This resilience is not loud or aggressive, it is steady and unwavering, like a river carving its way through rock. The impact of a quiet revolution is not always immediately visible, but it is profound and far-reaching. A simple woman's commitment to her values inspires others to reflect on their own lives. Her example shows that there is strength in vulnerability, courage in authenticity, and power in simplicity. She does not seek to change others directly, but creates space for them to explore their own truths by living hers so openly. Her quiet revolution also transforms the way she engages with the world. She brings mindfulness to her interactions, kindness to her relationships, and integrity to her work. She does not measure success by accolades or achievements, but by the depth of her connections and the alignment of her actions with her principles. This approach may not attract attention, but it fosters genuine and lasting change, both within herself and in her community. Ultimately, living as a quiet revolution is an act of faith in oneself, in the power of small actions, and in the possibility of a better world. It is a recognition that transformation does not always need to be loud or dramatic to be meaningful. A simple woman's quiet revolution is a declaration that she will not be defined by external forces, but by her own unwavering commitment to living authentically. Her life becomes a testament to the idea that the most profound changes often happen not in the spotlight, but in the quiet moments of everyday living.